What makes me come alive is the idea of being part of Dr. King's legacy. I do trainings that's based on a philosophy that was developed out of Dr. King's teachings, and I feel like it's so important for us to learn as much as we can from past movements because there's been so many elders that have come before us that have learned so much and have really made an effort to pass on those teachings. So I think it's really important for us to look into that history and see how we can apply those lessons to today. Dr. King's work, I think, has a lot to teach us in terms of how we relate to each other in our own communities, but also how we relate to the larger conflicts out there in the world, whether it's violence in the streets and violence in the schools, or the conflict between the rich and the poor, the have and the have-nots, the 99% and the 1%. Issues with conflicts between different cultures and different people. I think Dr. King can really share a lot in terms of how we move forward in those conflicts in a healthy way. So that's what excites me and what gets me out of bed every morning is the idea that I can play some small role in helping to pass on those lessons and helping communities really empower themselves to deal with those conflicts in a healthy way. So the change that I would like to help create in the world is really to empower people and provide communities with the skills to be able to handle conflict in healthy ways. I think the violence that we see in our streets, the violence that we see in our communities is oftentimes as a result of people not knowing how to deal with the conflicts that they have. And so a lot of the work that I do over the last couple of years, we've been doing a lot of nonviolence trainings in high schools and prisons and jails, and what I want to do is provide those communities with the skills to be able to not just to respond to the conflict in their own personal lives, but really inspire and empower them to be advocates for peace. Oftentimes, the people that are living in the most troubled neighborhoods, the most violent communities, they know better than anyone what the impact of violence is, and so they, uh, more than anyone, understand the need to create peace in their own communities as well as in the broader world. And I feel like oftentimes movements for social change sometimes can leave their voices out. And I think that whatever movement for change that we needed to have the leadership of the communities that are most impacted by those issues. And so if we're talking about violence, if we're talking about economic injustice, we need the communities that have been most impacted to step up into leadership positions. And so part of the change that I want to create is in whatever issue it is that's being addressed, that's being organized around, that communities are speaking out, that we're also empowering the communities that are most directly impacted and the most negatively impacted to be in leadership positions in all of those movements.